Depression is like a big topic in the world right now, and I just want to know, what would you do to cope with it, and what coping mechanisms or any advice would you give to somebody with depression?
I'm gonna be just honest with you. Recently,
Yeah.
earlier this year, I went through a stage in my life where I attempted to commit suicide.
Tell the feeling like I'm trapped in my damn mind. Tell the feeling like I'm rapping a damn lie. Tell the feeling like my life is a damn game. Nigga really wanna.
Alright, so we're here with Tess. Depression is like a big topic in the world right now, and I just want to know, what do you feel like people can use to cope with it?
In connection, for sure.
Okay.
Even when it doesn't feel like the thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say that the thing that has helped me through depression a lot is doing the things that I really don't want to do, which is instead of staying inside, like going out, going outside, going for walks, engaging in things that make you a little bit uncomfortable and challenge you.
For me, on like the most basic level, when I'm not feeling well, I have to be outside and get sunlight. So being in Los Angeles, that's like amazing.
Okay.
You can do that. Being active are things that I typically go to.
Yeah. So just, you would say just like making the extra effort and just,
I would say, just challenging yourself, doing the things that are uncomfortable, like consistently, and then when you start to see those results compile, I think that actually ends up bringing you out of it a little bit. You know?
Well, thank you.
On a general basis, those are the like main things that I do. Sometimes I'll self-isolate, and that will be helpful because I'll just need to take care of myself. Or sometimes I'll be around people because it's that type of depression. Where I need other people to take me out of it.
That's a very different aspect.
There's
the self-isolation, I haven't heard that one yet at all yet. That's a good one. My question is to you is basically, what coping mechanisms or any advice would you give to somebody with depression?
I'm gonna be just honest with you. Recently,
Yeah.
earlier this year, I went through a stage in my life where I attempted to commit suicide.
I always think that it's important to just like move through your feelings, you know, like definitely respect the fact that you're feeling that way, and it's okay to take, you know, a day or two or however long. You know, once you kind of get longer than a week, then I can kind of say it's maybe a little concerning, but I definitely go as far as, you know, getting outside, even if it's just for a little walk, is definitely helpful. So sometimes it's as easy as sitting on the floor and stretching, you know, and then stretching and moving your body a little bit, but like you're pushing the energy. Like depression is really just like stagnant energy that's stuck. So like once you can learn to control that and move it, it'll help you feel better. Then your mind feels good.
100%,
Very rough stage of my life, and honestly what helped me was I reached out to a selective group of like friends. What helped me get through it was I started going to church. First time in my life, not in my life, but I stopped going to church around the age of 15. And I'm 33 now. The thing that helped me was looking for God and finding God again.
God is good, brother. 100%.
And honestly, I never considered myself religious in my entire life, or even Christian for that matter.
I would say it's more not a religion, it's a relationship.
It's a relationship. So I would say going back to church and finding Jesus, you know, and realizing that I have a purpose to fulfill. And I would have cut it short if I took the way out, you know.
100%. Great answer, all that was. All right, so I'm here with
Travis.
and Alejandro. So basically, depression is like a big thing in our United States right now, and it's climbing every day more and more. What would you do to cope with it, and what advice would you have to anybody coping with depression?
I think that currently in our culture, we have a lack of meaning in our culture, and I think a lot of people need to connect back to family, community. A lot of people live on their phones, live on their TVs, live on their computer. And I think having a sense of community would really help with a lot of depression. Obviously, I'm a personal trainer, but that's what I do for a living. So exercise, obviously really good. Take care of yourself and just preaching a culture of like health overall, like just health and like exercise. But I think mostly it's like there's a lot of missing community and family in our culture right now. And I think we need to ground ourselves back into that.
Neighbors are not neighbors no more sometimes.
Right, exactly.
Like that.
I have two small children. I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And I go out and I play on the street with them, like kick the ball, throw the baseball
That's so
around
uncommon
stuff.
too.
Yeah, and it's
That's
like
so
I don't
uncommon.
see any other families doing that, you know? And it's like, it's unfortunate. Especially in Los Angeles, I feel like there's a lot of, they want to connect with the people that live right next door to them, you know? So that's a big part of it that I think
It's
would
all
help a
about
lot.
communion.
Yeah, and just giving yourself something to ground you to.
I kind of blame it on like the social media. You don't want to blame it on just only that.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, our society, I mean, as people in our society, we've gone mentally weaker and they've lied to us and told us that like, oh, if you feel this, like, it's only this. You have depression, you have this. When sometimes if you don't feel good, if you feel like shit, it's mostly because you have to fix something in your life.
Yeah.
And instead of looking for what to fix, you want to look at what you have, and then use that as an excuse to not fix anything because I have this. So instead of using it to as like using that energy and putting it somewhere else, you just take the meds. You just listen to people say what you have. And you just label yourself as like, oh, well, I'm depressed.
Almost like it's cool.
Yeah, it's
like
cool.
It's portrayed in music like it's cool.
Yeah, like
and things of that nature. So it's like,
I'm depressed, and then self-depreciating jokes. Like people joke about themselves and they just trash themselves all the time. Oh, you know, depression. Oh, you know, I'm broke. Oh, you know this. Oh, you know that. And people and like society now makes it seem like it's cool, and they'll laugh about it, and they'll get attention. And then they'll just keep on going in life, just self-depreciating and like without knowing the power of words.
All right, man, that's to close out the video. I feel like a lot of people have like a lot of good answers and things of that nature. But I feel like my opinion on this topic would just put God first and make that little effort to do the extras. Because I already know you're gonna be a little bit tired. You're gonna be a little bit not wanting to, and it's hard. It's gotta be hard, but you just gotta fight. You gotta fight for your happiness every day. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, man. We out of here. Regular show.